Hello and welcome to our sound editor demonstration for Reverb. So what we're playing with today is the solo from 21 Guns by Green Day. So we're just going to set up some initial settings, we'll just fiddle with these dials a little bit. Okay, so there's our reverb, and now I'm just going to change some of the settings and talk you through what I'm doing. So the first thing I'll do is bring the room size down to make it sound like it's much closer. So we could hear there that it still had a long reverb tail, but the reflections that we were simulating were much closer. Watch how it changes when we make the room size larger. So the reflections themselves take longer to disperse, even though the time is staying the same. So now we're going to bring the time all the way up. Alright, so we can hear there that the reverb lasts a lot longer, especially when we compare it to this. Where you can still tell there's reverb, but it's much shorter because the time has been changed, but the room size has not. So let's change the density now and see what that does. So we get a sort of blurred sound here because there's more reflections, so it's masking the original sound a little more. Compare it to when we've got the density down. The reverb here is slightly less clear, but the sound itself is more clear because there are less reverberation reflections. Now let's change the pre-delay. So that was with the pre-delay pretty long. It's harder to tell with that because all we're really hearing is when the reverb starts. There's a slight slapback effect that we get though, where you can hear when the reverb comes in, whereas with the others it was almost immediately afterwards. So now we're just going to change the settings. We'll bring the room size up, bring the time down a little bit, density up, and slightly shorter pre-delay than that last one so that we keep the clarity of the guitar, but give it a good space so that it sounds a bit more epic for that solo feel. Okay, let's just select all this and I'll play it back to you now. Okay, I think that's a pretty good sound for our guitar solo. We can see from that that the clarity of the guitar can still come through even when we've got reverb on it, but the room size helps to give that emphasis and make it a bit more epic for your guitar solo feel. Things to remember are that you don't want to make anything too large or too long in terms of the reverb if you're trying to play it on an instrument where you're wanting to use it as an added effect rather than as a special effect to make it seem like it's totally wacky. But just fiddle around with those controls and I'm sure you'll find some settings that you like. Okay guys, so thanks for watching and stay tuned for more sound editor demonstrations.